Good day, Roy Thomas from Sutton Group Professional Realty and HalifaxSeniorLiving.ca. In today's video, we're going to talk about something that's a great companion piece to last week's video about tax-free savings accounts, but that has absolutely nothing to do with real estate. But for a lot of my clients, this is something that's going to be of interest. Today, we're going to talk about Registered Retirement Investment Funds, or RRIFs. Now, if you have a RRSP and the year you turn 71, you have to basically collapse your RRSP and you have to put the money into a RRIF. You can also put money from a couple other places like locked-in retirement accounts or locked-in retirement savings plans, but for most people, it's going to be taking the money from their RRSP and putting it into their RRIF. Now, one thing is I always mention whenever I talk about anything financial, two recommendations. Number one, do some research, educate yourself, and understand what you're investing in. And secondly, do it in consultation with your financial planner. Okay? This is not meant to be financial advice today. It's just simply meant to be information to help you know a little bit more about these things if you're not familiar with them. So please, if you're going to do anything, talk to your financial planner. Now, once you create your RRIF when you're 71, you have to do it by the end of the year in which you turn 71. You move the money from your RRSP to your RRIF. They're similar in the sense that the money continues to grow in your RRIF, tax-free or tax-deferred. However, you cannot make any additional contributions to your RRIF in the future, and every year you have to do a withdrawal. They do have minimum withdrawal amounts. It's prescribed by the government using a formula they've created. So you do have to take a certain amount of money out of the plan each year. There is some flexibility in that you do have to take the minimum amount, but you can actually take more money if you want or need it. Keep in mind that money will be taxed to you in whatever year you take it. So the more you take, the more tax you'll end up paying. You can receive that money in a lump sum or through periodic payments, such as monthly or quarterly, depending on your RRIF. And of course, you can set that up at pretty much your bank, credit union, investment company, or your insurance company. So whoever you prefer to deal with can handle setting up your RRIF. If your RRSPs are, they can simply create a RRIF for you. And you can have more than one RRIF if you want. In terms of what investments you can hold in your RRIF, just like your RRSP, it's pretty wide. You can have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETF, GICs, and more. So there is a wide variety depending on certain things such as your risk tolerance, financial goals, age, time horizon. So again, that's why you want to talk to your financial planner to figure out what's best for you. Now, you can also have a spousal RRSP for your spouse or common law partner. In that case, it makes sense to name each other as beneficiaries. And on the passing of one of you, the money just moves to your spouse's RRIF. One thing to note, that the money you would drop in your RRIF may have an effect on your eligibility to receive government benefits such as old age security and guaranteed income supplements. It may have an effect on those. And let's talk about some estate planning there. If you do a RRIF, you should do the proper estate planning on it. You can designate a beneficiary who will receive the remaining assets upon your death, either directly or through a trust. And depending on how you set up your beneficiary designation, you may or may not be subject to probate fees upon your passing. And of course, when you do pass, your RRIF has to be wound down and terminated. Now, one thing I do want to note that's an interesting fact is, as I mentioned, each year you have to take a minimum amount out of your RRIF. CARP, the Canadian Association of Retired Persons, is in the process of talking to the government to try and get that changed to end the mandatory minimum withdrawals, meaning that you don't have to make a withdrawal 1 year if you don't want to. And there's a couple of main reasons for that. Number one, if you don't actually need any money that year, then being forced to take money out simply creates an additional tax consequence for you and generates revenue for the government, but it's for money that you didn't actually need that year. And second off, some people have a legitimate concern about outliving their money. When RRIFs were originally created, the deduction or the withdrawals were set up to collapse the plan by, I believe, age 92. And people are living longer these days. So there is obviously a possibility that some people will have passed 92 and have no more money left in their RRIF. So people are concerned about outliving their money. So CARP is in the process of trying to change it so that you do not have to make any withdrawals anytime unless you want to withdraw the money out. I am going to put a link down below for the CARP article so you can actually read that to find a little bit more about that. Personally, I think what they're doing is a great idea. I think it is better to be able to take the money as you need it, not have to take it out in a prescribed amount. Anyways, don't forget, if you're going to do a RRIF, make sure you get proper financial advice from your financial planner. And if you have any questions, you can reach me at Roy Thomas. My number is 902-497-3031, or you can visit my website at halifaxseniorliving.ca. Thanks very much. Have a great day.